Everybody, this is Dark Storm Comic Reviews here with a review on Green Goblin Issue 4. And as you can tell in this issue, the Green Goblin will be fighting the Hobgoblin. Yeah, I really like this cover too. I like the smoke trail here. We get the Hobgoblin flying on his glider. It's really cool. Get a better look here. You can see him throwing his razor bats, is what they're called. Not batarangs, they're razor bats. Razor bats, and then you've got the Green Goblin here. You got Phil. He's lining up one of his pumpkin bombs, and he's just throwing it at him. Trying to get a good view for you guys. It's pretty. Yeah, I like this cover. I really do. It's cool. It's a cool cover. It shows they're about to get into a major fight scene. Get the full view for you guys here. Inner Hobgoblin, extra Green Goblin. Okay, that's the cover. Now if you guys remember from the last issue, issue 3, or if you haven't watched the video yet, Rico, at the end of Green Goblin issue 3, Rico actually confronts Phil. He confronts Phil, and that's where issue 3 kind of leaves off. So basically what happens here is, Rico confronts Phil, and Rico basically says like, hey, I thought we were buds, Phil. I thought we were buds, I thought, friends do stuff for each other, right? And if you're as good as a friend as you say you are to me, then, maybe you could be like my inside man. Maybe you could be my inside man and give me some, good information. Because, and he even said right here, Rico says, knowledge is power. So maybe you'll find some good information. Maybe you can help me make some money, And it's just kind of, Rico's basically hustling Phil right now. He's basically hustling him. He's like, I want you to be my inside man, give me some information, make me some money. And if you don't do that, well, then I'm going to come and I'm going to, take care of you, basically. So, yeah, he's basically hustling him. He's like, for inside information in the Bugle, so he can make some money. It's a pretty cool scene. And so Phil's like, yeah, sure, yeah, I guess I'll do that. And he goes, and he's like, man, this, he's basically saying, man, this sucks. Like, this is like total trash. Rico's after me, and this is horrible. But then he sees, you get a really cool scene here. He's pretty upset by the whole situation. But then we get a cool scene where we see like a goblin glider, or something glide on the ground. We see a shadow here. If you can't tell by the artwork, it's kind of hard to see. But yeah, we see a shadow on the ground, and we come to find out that it actually is none other than a Hobgoblin. It's haunted by the Hobgoblin. It's pretty cool. I like this image here with the Hobgoblin too. It's pretty cool. Get the glider and you get the suit, and it's pretty cool. I like this drawing. I like the image. It's really cool. It's a really pretty cool rendition of the Hobgoblin. You see Phil down here looking up, and basically Phil's like at this moment he's like yeah, I thought Rico the Sicko was the worst thing. I thought Rico was the worst thing to come after me, and he was like, Phil was like really scared at first. He was like, I thought Rico was the worst thing to happen to me, but then he sees the Hobgoblin and he's like, yep, my life just pretty much got worse. Yep. My life could get worse. That's how it would get worse, basically. So yeah. Okay, then we move on to the next scene. And Phil basically goes, I figured this day would come. I figured this would happen. I'm the new Green Goblin now. Yeah, I figured something like this would happen, where the Hobgoblin was going to stalk me and try to hunt me down. Because that's what he's thinking. He's like, man, the Hobgoblin's hunting me down. He's after me. And I'm not just being paranoid either. Like I swear he's after me now. Phil's pretty much convinced that the Hobgoblin's like tailing him now. So yeah, basically he's freaking out. He's like, the Hobgoblin's tailing me. And so then he basically talks about, the Hobgoblin's origin, sorta, kinda. He basically says like, the first one was Ned Leeds, which isn't really true. I think it was actually, the first Hobgoblin, I believe, was Roger Kingsley. But to Phil, because, he's never really encountered the Hobgoblin before, so to him, the first version of the Hobgoblin was Ned Leeds. But really, I think in the comics, the first version of the Hobgoblin was Roger Kingsley. But yeah, anyways, it's not that important. But anyways, yeah, he goes, the first one was Ned Leeds. And they talk about how, how the first Hobgoblin, Ned Leeds, he ended up finding, much like him, he ended up finding the Green Goblin equipment. He ended up finding the equipment, he found like a stash of the Green Goblin equipment, and he equipped it, and he turned himself into the Hobgoblin. And Phil kind of makes a comparison because he says, yeah, I pretty much did the same thing. I found the Green Goblin stuff and the equipment, But unlike, Hobgoblin, I didn't change my name or anything. I just, I took the equipment, I took the Green Goblin equipment, and I basically just said, I'm the new Green Goblin. Feels like I didn't make any changes. I just kind of took the gear, I ran with the name, and there you go. It's kind of funny because he says, because, making a new superhero name is kind of hard to do, so, which means kind of true. It's kind of hard to come up with a cool superhero name. But yeah, he basically just goes over his origins again. He makes comparisons between Hobgoblin's origin and his, or the first Hobgoblin's origin and his. This is a pretty cool scene. And so then we get to the next scene. Phil's, he's like, okay, I feel like I saw this coming at some point. I figured the Hobgoblin was going to stalk me or come get me at some point because, why wouldn't he? I'm the new Green Goblin in town. He probably doesn't want the competition, and he probably wants to ace me out. He probably wants to take me out. So you know what? I'm just going to have to gear up, and I'm just going to have to fight him out myself. I'm just going to have one of those classic superhero, supervillain battles. So, he goes to his loft, he goes to his gear, and you think, if you've read comic books, you think it's going to be the classic, I'm going to get my gear, I'm going to suit up, and I'm going to take this guy out. But the book does a really clever thing that I kind of like. So he goes to his loft here. He goes to his gear, and you're like, okay, cool, superhero fight, let's do this. But no, he takes a look at his gear, and he's like, man, I want to fight the Hobgoblin. Well, he doesn't want to fight him. He's like, I feel like I have to fight him because he keeps stalking me. Like, I feel like I have to. But man, I have no idea how any of this stuff works. Look at all this weird stuff. What are these little green things here? What are these little, green bombs? What is this? Like, the razor bats I can kind of understand. But what are these little green, things? It's kind of what Phil's saying to himself right now, the character. He's like, what are these? What are these little green head things? Like, what am I supposed to do with this? So, the cool thing is, so basically he's just like, yeah, you know what, I kind of care about my life, and I don't really want to die, so, yeah, I think I'm just going to bag the whole fight. Like, you know what, yeah, I think it'd be better if I just duck the fight and not fight at all. And I thought that was a really cool, I need to get a better picture for you guys. Here's look, he's literally trying to figure out his equipment, like, he doesn't know what to do. And that's really, really cool. I like that twist. Because normally in books, you're like, okay, so hero's going to get his gear and he's going to fight it out. Well, not Phil. No, Phil's like, I don't understand how many of this works. So, you know what? I care about my life, so I don't really want to die. So, I'm just going to duck out of this. I thought that was a cool twist. I thought it was a cool thing. And I'm going to dive more into this characteristic of Phil while I'm reviewing the issue. Because this is pretty important. So... But anyway, sure, I'll do the scene again. I hope I'm not talking too fast for you guys. I tend to talk kind of fast, so hopefully you guys can understand me. Maybe there's like a slow down motion for YouTube where you can slow my voice down so you can understand. But yeah, here's the picture. It's cool. He's just trying to figure out his gear. He doesn't know what he's doing. Got the razor bats here. Good, pretty cool picture. Pretty cool picture. Anyways, let's get to it. Anyways. Okay, so we get back to the Bugle. Sorry, guys, the wind. It's ridiculous. Okay, we get back to the Bugle. And, Phil's hanging out. And Ben, because remember, Phil Urich has an uncle. His uncle is Uncle Ben Urich. And he's an investigative reporter. He's like one of the Bugle's top reporters. But anyways, yeah, so this is Phil's uncle, Uncle Ben. And he ends up bringing a box into the office. And apparently it's a box full of his newly released book. Because you guys don't remember from the first issue, or if you haven't watched that review, Ben Urich was working on a Green Goblin book, basically covering the whole history of the Green Goblins, from Norman Osborn to Harry Osborn. So, so he actually got his book released, so that's cool. And Phil's basically like, I'm proud of my uncle, he deserves this. He's done a really good job with the Green Goblin stuff. He's done a really fantastic job. He deserves this. It's just a cool scene. It's cool. It's a cool scene because you can tell that Phil, really respects his uncle. So that's pretty cool. And then we get to this other scene. I want to make sure I get this for you guys though. Hopefully y'all can see. Here's Phil and then here's the books. Real quick, I just want to make sure you guys got that. Okay, so anyways, we get to the next scene, and Phil basically spends his lunch hour in the morgue, and he starts researching the Hobgoblin. He wants to know why. He wants to know. He wants to know why this guy's stalking him, basically. So, and through his research, Phil actually finds out that his backlighting buddy, the Hobgoblin, actually has a an ex-wife and a son. So and he finds out that and also he finds out that his wife and the Hobgoblin's wife and his son actually lives in Phil's neighborhood. So Phil's thinking like, maybe the Hobgoblin's not telling me. Maybe he's telling his ex-wife and his son. So maybe I'm in the clear. So then while Phil's researching all this, Phil accidentally gets grabbed from behind. It's like, ooh, what's that? And then he finds out that it's Lynn, who is basically Lynn Walsh is Phil's crush. It's his love interest. So it feels like it's Lynn Walsh, and he acts like kind of a dork around her. She's basically saying, hey, when you're done with the microfilm, is it micro? Yeah, microfilm. Now, when you're done the microfilm film, I'm gonna need it because I got to do a research on the story. Phil basically he's like, okay, sure, whatever, that's awesome, and he runs away all nervous because he's like really nervous around her because he has a huge crush on her. And when you have a huge crush on somebody, you normally get nervous and you kind of freak out a bit. So it's kind of normal. But yeah, it's good. So just the picture again. I just want to make sure you guys got that. Here's Lynn. Here's here's that scene. Okay, yep, sorry about that, guys. Okay, we get this next scene. Phil decides, okay, so because he wants to prove that the Hobgoblin's actually stalking his ex-wife and not him. So Phil actually goes to the building where his wife and his son lives, and he goes, okay, so maybe I can figure out and prove for sure that the Hobgoblin's stalking her and not me. And so, okay, one of the things I wanted to dive into this issue is that Phil is again going here for like selfish reasons. Like he's not doing this to make sure his ex-wife is safe or whatever. No, he's going to check to see if he's in the clear and Hobgoblin's after her. And he even admits in the book they just purely doing this for selfish reasons. So yeah, Phil's literally going to see if he's in the clear and he's safe. So yeah, come to find out he is safe. The Hobgoblin's not stalking him. He actually is stalking his ex-wife. So Phil's like, yes, I'm in the clear. I'm happy. I'm good. And again, I like that. It's really cool. It's like Phil is very much he's a selfish character. He's a selfish character. He's not a bad guy. He's not a hero. He's not a villain. He's just selfish. He doesn't want to lose his life. He doesn't want to, get too deep and too involved. So yeah, it feels like he's happy that he's not involved. It's funny because then he goes like, most superheroes, they would like go fight. This would be the time where they slip into their spandex and go fight the bad guy or go fight the criminal. But no, Phil's like, but no. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do the next best thing. I'm gonna call 911. Yep, he literally goes instead of getting into action, like most superheroes would do and going to fight the bad guys. Phil decides to go call the cops. And it's funny because he's like, maybe if I call the cops, maybe they'll help out. Maybe they'll do a good job. He's trying to convince himself that the cops can actually take down the Hobgoblin. So I don't know. It's just a funny scene, and I really like it, and it really kind of shows that Phil is a pretty selfish character. Like he's a very selfish character, and like I said, this book does some interesting plot twists where you think it's going to be like, Phil's going to fight the bad guy because that's what Spider-Man or Captain America would do. But no, Phil's like, oh, screw this. I'm going to call the cops. I'm getting out of Dodge. And I like that. It's a cool, interesting characteristic. It's something that we don't see a lot. Okay, so anyways, we get to the next scene. Phil's at the Bugle. He's, he's looking at the newspaper. He sees that, oh yeah, okay, so I forgot to mention this. The ex-wife and the son, the ex-wife to the Hobgoblin is actually married to a guy named Van Coulter. And, the Hobgoblin is actually stalking his ex-wife, but he's also kind of stalking the husband of his ex-wife, whose name is Van Coulter. So, and Phil's reading a newspaper, and he spots the name Van Coulter, and he's like, yeah, that's the Hobgoblin's ex-wife's new husband. And he reads up on it, and he starts talking to Lynn too. And he starts talking to Lynn because he wants to know more about Van Coulter and stuff and all that. And Lynn basically tells him, yeah, actually the research I was doing on my press thing, for my newspaper yesterday was for Van Coulter because he's going to be holding like a ceremony type meeting on this money train, on this armored money train. So yeah, so Lynn tells Phil tells Phil about that, and Phil's like, okay, that's cool, yeah, that's awesome, that's neat. And so Phil's thinking to himself, oh, the money train, it's that the money train is essentially, so the money train is essentially like this armored train that picks up receipts and stuff from other stations. Feels like, Van Coulter's going to be on that and holding a meeting there. The Hobgoblin is obviously going to go after him. And since Lynn is going there to, Lynn the blonde girl is going to, do some press coverage on that and stuff, I need to make sure she's safe. I want to make sure she doesn't get hurt. And that's kind of And it also shows that Phil, he can be selfish, but he can also be kind of a selfless character at times. Because, he does care about Lynn, sort of, kind of. It's more of a crush thing, but, But anyways, yeah, so anyways, he doesn't want Lynn to get in danger, obviously, but he still isn't going to, that being said, while he does care about Lynn, he still isn't going to get too involved, so, okay, so obviously the cops didn't work, right? So he figures the next best bet for him would be to call the Fantastic Four. So yeah, he calls Fantastic Four. It's a funny conversation, because things like, are you crazy, man? The Fantastic Four, it's not like a call service. You can't just call us if you hear a crime, man. Like, sorry, here's the thing. You can't just call us if you hear a crime, man. Like, what's with you? And so Phil basically literally says, but look, I'm the Green Goblin, okay? And, I heard, like, the Hobgoblin might, rob the money train and stuff, I think this is pretty important. And the things like, whoop-de-doo, like, whatever, seriously, you're calling me for this? Like, the Fantastic Four, like, we go to space, man. We fight space criminals and monsters, and you're calling us for, like, a little train robbery? Are you serious? And he goes, look, just get off the line, all right? And then he talks about Sandra Bullock, and you can see the writing right here. But it's just a funny conversation. It feels like, yep, nobody trusts the Green Goblin. I mean, I don't blame him, because I'm not sure if I really trust the Green Goblin. So, anyways, feels like, okay, so the cops aren't working, and the Fantastic Four is not working. So, I guess I'll just have to do this myself. And again, that's one thing I want to stress about this issue. Phil, this issue very much dives into the fact that Phil here, he's not into confrontation. He's not into, if you couldn't tell by the beginning of this issue, he's just not in confrontation. He doesn't like, it's shown with Rico, it's shown with the Hobgoblin. Yeah, it's shown with the Hobgoblin. Like, he just does not want to get involved in the fights. He does not want to get involved in, you can tell that Phil's very much secure about not wanting to, throw his life away. Well, not throw his life away, but you know what I mean. Like, he very much does not want to get involved. He very much does not want to risk his life. That's just not how he wants to operate. He doesn't want to, get too deep involved into it. He doesn't want to be like Spider-Man. He doesn't want to be like Spider-Man. Risk himself to save innocence. Because like I said, Phil is a very selfish character. He wants to make sure that he's fine. He doesn't really care about the other people that much. So he'll literally try any way to get out of the situation, either by calling the cops, calling the Fantastic Four. Like, it's funny because in this book, like, he literally, like, tries to deny, literally, the confrontation with the Hobgoblin. Like, deep down, he knows he has to fight him, but he really just doesn't want to. So yeah, that's really cool. I just wanted to talk about that for a few minutes, because that's a really cool thing about this issue. Is Phil constantly denies confrontation. Like, he just does not want to fight Hobgoblin. He really only cares about his own life, really, pretty much. Sort of, kind of. But anyways, yeah, so he did, until this point, obviously. So yeah, the cops don't work, Fantastic Four doesn't work. He was like, you know what, I'll just have to fight him myself. And so he starts digging through his goblin gizmos, and he finds that there's this thing called the Spy Eye. It's a remote, I think it's what's called, a remote-controlled Spy Eye. Basically, let's see, he suits up real quick. Get this thing right here. So he's jamming the music, too. But yeah, we get this really cool thing where he suits up, and the Green Goblin, like, gets into action, basically. We see the smoke, we see the Goblin and the glider laughing, and I really like this image. It's a really cool image. Like, not Tom DeFalco, I'm sorry. I can't remember his name right. Okay, well, I'll look it up at the end of the review. But yeah, the artist who draws this, he does a really good Green Goblin, like a really, really good Green Goblin. This is a really good Green Goblin drawing right here with the red eyes and then the suit. And I still think the suit's just awesome looking. So yeah, anyways, he flies off into action. And again, like I said, Phil's just denying the confrontation. Like, he's just straight up denying it. So basically, okay, so the remote-controlled Spy Eye is basically like, it's just basically a spy. It's a little spy. It's a little spy camera glider, basically. He sends the glider off, and here's what it is. It's like a little camera-controlled glider. Like, basically what happens is, okay, so the glider basically, like, it's basically a recording device. Like, it can, like, it basically is following the train. It's following the train down the trail. Green Goblin's following the little glider, and he can kind of see where the train is going through the remote control device, basically. So yeah, it's basically like basically like a remote tracking device, basically. The little glider is like, it's following the train, and Phil can like see the train through his mask, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, sorry, I kind of muddled that one up there, but hopefully you can understand what I said. So here's Phil here. Tracking the train. Yeah, literally, he's literally like tracking the train and trying to keep it a safe distance because he just does not want to do confrontation. Anyways, we get to the next scene, and yeah, they're on the money train. Lynn and this other guy. He's basically thanking this guy named Conover for the opportunity to do the interview or the review, and Conover's like, sure, I'm happy to do it. You deserve it, Lynn. You're a good worker. So then basically everything's going okay, but then the train, the armored money train that they're on goes dark, and they're like, what's happening? What's the deal here? And Hobgoblin ends up like ripping the roof off, and he's like, for any harm that comes to you guys, just remember it's all because of Van Coulter. Van Coulter is the reason I'm here. And he just starts attacking them, and he throws some smoke bombs down. And then we actually see Phil start to get a little bit concerned here because he goes, "Man, Lynn, I don't want anything to happen to Lynn. His crush." So that's when Phil kind of starts to say like, "Yeah, I don't like confrontation. I don't like getting involved in this type of stuff, and I don't want to lose my life, but I also don't want Lynn to get hurt." But anyways, you see the Hobgoblin here. He's like, "Yeah, boys, load up. Let's get some money off of this train." And sounds good to me. So I'll get a better picture for you guys. So yeah, here's the people. The train here. Okay, and then one of his criminal bodyguard, criminal friends. Okay, I'm forgetting the name here, but yeah, criminal friends spots the backlighter following him. He's like, "Hey, what's that bad thing following us?" And so then it's funny because the Hobgoblin actually gets kind of jokes and he goes, "Bad thing? Other than that guy from the movies, I'm the only one who sports the bat motifs here. Like, what's up with this?" It's obviously kind of a reference to Batman too, so that's kind of funny. But yeah, so then he spots the backlighter and he's like, "Huh, I think I know who this belongs to." So Hobgoblin flies over, shoots the little remote control glider, and it actually sends like a zap to Phil. Like, it actually sends like this feedback to him, and it kind of fries his brain a little bit and messes with him. So he zaps the thing, fries the glider. Hobgoblin's like, "I'm gonna go take care of this." A better scene for you guys here. See, here's the glider fried, and then the fight begins basically, or sort of kind of a fight. Like I said, Phil's not confrontational, so Phil basically just like runs off. Like he sees the Hobgoblin gliding for him, he runs off. And we get this pretty cool scene where the Hobgoblin, he fires his sparkle blasters. I believe that they're called sparkle blasters, finger blasters. I think that's what they're called. So he fires his finger blasters at the Green Goblin, and he goes, "Man, I heard you're back in action, Green Goblin, but I'm not sure why you decided to really encroach on my enterprise or on my business. So, but for that you're gonna have to pay, obviously." So yeah, just gets into a pretty good fight here, pretty good chase scene. Yeah, and so then Phil, Phil's fighting back. He fires some of his finger blasters. He keeps laughing. We get this just cool scene here. It's a pretty cool fight scene. It's not the best I've seen. It's not bad, but it's kind of hard to tell a little bit. It's not hard to tell what's going on really, but it's like, I don't know. It's not bad. It's just not fantastic, But yeah, anyway, you see the fight scene. Phil fires his finger blasters. Hobgoblin tosses some pumpkin bombs here. It's pretty cool. And so then, Hobgoblin's still fighting him, and Green Goblin flies off. Green Goblin's like, "Man, I should really just bag this. This isn't good. I should just bail. I should bail." He's basically saying, forget the money train, forget Hobgoblin, and disregard Lynn. And he's like, "Man, I can't just bag on Lynn. I can't just abandon Lynn. I can't abandon my crush. I can't do this." So Lynn is the one thing that actually makes him stay around for the confrontation, because if Lynn wasn't involved in this, if his crush wasn't involved in this, he would have bailed. He would have just straight up bailed on all this. Because Lynn's there, he's like, "No, I gotta confront this. I gotta end this." Basically. So Phil's like, "I gotta man up and I gotta do this." So and here's the scene here. It's a cool scene. I like the smoke trail. Yeah, okay, so anyways, get to the next scene, and Phil or Green Goblin ends up flying into the Hobgoblin's goons basically. They're like, "Hey, let's ice this guy. Let's take him down." So Phil's like, "Well, I guess it's time to employ my lunatic laugh," which you guys remember, Phil can laugh at I mentioned this before. Phil can laugh at such a high frequency with his Green Goblin powers. He can actually shatter, someone's eardrums. Like he can break someone's ears basically, like their hearing. He can destroy their hearing basically. So yeah, he laughs at such a high frequency. Here you guys, showing a picture here. That's such a high frequency that it actually shatters these guys' eardrums. Like you can see the spit coming out of them, possibly blood. I don't really know. But you can see the spit here. You see their heads kind of, but their brains kind of turning into mush too. You can see this dude's head right here. But yeah, it's a cool scene. I like it. And then once he kind of stuns him with his laugh, he just mows right into him. And I actually kind of like this scene where he stuns him with his laugh, and then he like just kind of mows into him with his backlighter and his, you know, his body and fists and stuff. It's pretty cool. So he laughs. He runs into him. Just want to run through the scene again real quick. He laughs a little bit with his high-pitched laugh, and then he stuns him, and then he hits him. And it's a cool scene. I really like it. I really like this this scene. So yeah, pretty cool. And we get the next scene. Hobgoblin's basically at this point just had enough of this. He's like, okay, you've encroached on my enterprise. You're messing me up. I had this whole thing planned with the money train. You're just screwing it all up for me. You're gonna die. Like I'm tired of you. So then Hobgoblin comes in, throws some of his backlighters, and Green Goblin decides to just quickly dodge those. And at first he's doing pretty good. Like he actually outruns all the razor bats that the Hobgoblin throws at him. So Hobgoblin throws the razor bats. Green Goblin like flies like right past all of them. You can see they fly right into the wall here. And he's like, oh, this is awesome. I'm actually doing really good. This is some skill. And then it looks like it's going good so far. But then he like runs himself right into the wall, and it's like, Phil. But yeah, it's just kind of funny because he's like, yeah, scratch that skill. Yeah, there's no skill involved with this. It's just kind of a funny scene. So he literally flies past them all, and then he just like rams himself to the wall here. And then the Hobgoblin like zaps him with his finger blaster, takes him out. And even the Hobgoblin says, like, I don't mean to be rude or anything, buddy, but, you know, you really need to brush up on your combat techniques. You know, this is really going to cost you. And it looks like Phil's down for the count. It looks like Green Goblin, you know, was about to be destroyed. But then, luckily, boom, the thing himself actually shows up and saves the day. You know, he saves the day. He comes to, you know, Green Goblin's aid, I guess, or he listens to his tip, and he's like, yeah, you're not going to do that in my watch. And so Hobgoblin starts soiling his pants a little bit, and he says like, you know, I'd love to keep talking. I'd love to settle our differences, Green Goblin, but I think I really need to bail here because the thing's gonna kick my butt if I don't leave. And you know, Green Goblin's like, yeah, sure, whatever, yeah. So he's like, so Hobgoblin bails, and he's like, you know, maybe we'll meet again. You know, maybe we'll meet again, and you're gonna prove a bit of a problem. Side note, they actually don't ever meet up again in this series. Phil meets the Hobgoblin later on, but it is not in this series. It's like later on. So, but yeah, as far as the series go, this series in particular goes, the Hobgoblin does not make another appearance, which is kind of unfortunate. But yeah, anyways, the Hobgoblin bails. Things like, you know, thanks for the tip. And Green Goblin's like, sure. And basically, Phil's like, okay, I'm gonna bolt. I'm gonna bail. So while he's doing that, one of the soldiers is like, hey, you know, we can't let that guy escape. Let's take him down. Things like, hey, that guy just saved our lives, you know, cut him a little slack. Basically, like, cut him a little slack there, and we get this kind of cool scene with Fantastic Fours here. Pretty neat. But anyway, Phil makes it back to his loft. He's basically like, you know, what a day, what a crazy day. You know, Rico, the Hobgoblin, this is crazy. This is, like, insane. Sorry, guys, hand was cramping up a little bit there. Anyways, Hobgoblin Rico was a crazy day. And so Phil takes off his mask. And this fight actually has kind of made Phil, since he didn't really fight the Hobgoblin, but he kind of got tangled up with him, sort of. But anyways, the encounter with the Hobgoblin kind of inspired Phil a little bit. He's like, you know what, I'm tired of being the wimp. I'm tired of being the scaredy cat. I'm tired of being whatever. I'm going to go confront my fears. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of not being confrontational. That is what I like about this issue, because I was rereading this, and I'm like, okay, it's going to be a fun fight between Hobgoblin and Green Goblin. It's going to be a fun fight, right? You know, that's what you expect out of a Green Goblin versus a Hobgoblin issue. But no, it actually has a cool message about confrontation. I kind of like it. It's like, you know, he keeps trying to... the message is pretty much, you know, you can't avoid stuff that you have to confront. Like, you can't always avoid confrontation. Like, sometimes you just got to confront, you know, your fears. You know, you can't just keep avoiding them. You got to, at some point, you can't just duck away from life or duck away from fears. You know, you got to confront your fears. You know, and I kind of like that, you know, when Phil kind of learns at the end of this issue to confront his fears. You know, he's like, I can't just duck away from my problems, you know, I got to confront them. So, And it's kind of a cool message, kind of a cool characteristic of his character. So he's just Phil. He's like, I'm going to go confront my fears. I like this image here where the mask is like teeming with smoke and stuff. Phil's right here. Okay, anyways, we get to the next scene. And see, it feels like, okay, Rico. You know, Rico's basically like, I asked you for like a little favor, a little information from the Bugle. Like, what's the huge deal here, Phil? Feels like, you know, I can't do this. You know, it's not right. It's wrong. My uncle works there. It wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be right taking information for you, you know, or, you know, getting information from the Bugle to give to you. It just wouldn't be right. And so Rico's like, you know what? I respect that, man. I respect that, you know. You know, personal integrity. I really respect that, you know. You're a good person, Phil, but, you know, you live in my neighborhood, so here's what's going to happen. You know, you live in my neighborhood. As long as you live in my neighborhood, you're going to work for me, basically. You know, he points I don't know what you call them, the stick at him or whatever you call it, pool table stick. He points it at his neck and he's like, you know, you got that? You know, you work for me. If you live in this neighborhood, you work for me. And Phil's like, well, I guess I got no other choice. I guess I just gotta, I don't know what to do now, you know. It's like, and so I don't know what to do now. I guess I'll just have to listen to him. And so yeah, basically, it's kind of an interesting dilemma because, and I kind of just contradicted myself a little bit because I said, like, you know, Phil kind of learns to confront his fears and stuff. That's kind of a message, even though it kind of goes back to regressing to his earlier fears in a way, because, like, he's all about confronting Rico, but he's like, you know, it's one of those things where maybe I'm not ready, you know, maybe I'm not ready to confront my fears, you know. I just fought the Hobgoblin and that's cool, but maybe I'm not entirely ready to confront my fears yet. So you can tell that Phil's a little slow to, well, not slow, but you know what I mean, like he's a little slow to, you know, really confront his fears, to confront his problems, you know. And, you know, so, yeah. But anyways, yeah, I thought this was a good issue. I thought it was enjoyable. I thought, here, let me go back to the cover here. I thought the idea, first off, well, obviously, the Green Goblin versus the Hobgoblin is awesome, but I thought the idea of, you know, him constantly trying to deny confrontation and not wanting to do it was really, really cool. I liked it. I liked how, you know, he would call 911. He would call 911. He would, you know, he would just do anything to get out of confronting the Hobgoblin, like literally anything, you know. He literally was happy in a way to see, like, the ex-wife the Hobgoblin was after his ex-wife and not him. Like, he really wanted to avoid confrontation. Like, he kept denying. And only until Lynn got involved, you know, his crush, he was like, I gotta do this. I gotta confront my fears, you know. And even though, yeah, to be fair, even though he kind of regresses at the end because he's like, I'm gonna confront Rico, and then he ends up deciding not to, still, he did confront Hobgoblin sort of with Lynn, so, you know, because he had a crush on Lynn, you know, he didn't want her to get hurt, and I kind of like that, you know, it's kind of like saying, you know, you can't just, the message of this book could be like, you know, you can't just duck away from your fears, you got to confront them at some point, you can't just keep avoiding, you know, your fears and your past fears, you know, you gotta find them at some point, and I kind of like that, about this book, and I kind of like that that's a characteristic of him, and it's very different because, you know, most superhero comics are like Spider-Man, you know, Spider-Man's like very much a, you know, I may lose my life, but I need to save the innocents because that's what matters, you know, other people matter more than me. That's how Spider-Man is. And that's, you know, that's what makes him a superhero. Same with Captain America, same with all those other guys. And then you got, you know, Punisher. He's an anti-hero. He doesn't care about, like, he cares about other people, but he's more interested in, you know, killing the bad guys because that's him. He wants to kill the bad guys. Phil is a very interesting person because he doesn't want any of that. He doesn't want to get involved. He likes the idea of being a superhero, basically. Phil likes the idea of being a superhero. He doesn't like the actual, you know, fights and everything else and getting involved in all that stuff. He likes the idea. He doesn't like the actual reality of being a superhero, basically. But yeah, I like this issue. I thought it was a good issue. Probably one of the best ones so far. Because it really dives into Phil's fear of a confrontation and kind of develops more of his character. And obviously, I like the Hobgoblin fight. That was pretty cool. I thought the art was cool. You know, there were some cool moments with the art. The Hobgoblin, for example, this scene was really cool. For example, the Hobgoblin is really, really neat drawing. I also like this scene right here. Do it real quick. This scene with the Green Goblin flying on the glider. And you got the smoke. That's a really cool drawing with the Green Goblin. And, yeah, and here, let me look at the artist real quick. give some credit here. Okay, so the artist, yeah, Scott McDaniel. Yeah, Scott McDaniel was the artist. Scott McDaniel, Tom DeFalco. Yeah, and Scott McDaniel, yeah, he... The thing about this book is, like I've said in my previous review, there's some good art and there's some kind of meh art. And to be honest, I think, the Hobgoblin and some drawings of the Green Goblin are really, really good. So, yeah. Here's the guy who did the things. Tom DeFalco was the writer, Scott McDaniel was the penciler, Derek Fisher's the inker, Jim Novak is the letterer, Gregory Wright is the colorist, Malibu Color Separations, Tom Breeford, editor, Bob Budiansky, editor-in-chief, and yeah, that was a Green Goblin issue 4. So, it's a good issue. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And just to give you guys a sneak peek, I'm sorry, I know this video is kind of dragging on a little long here. I'm not going to keep you guys too much longer. Give you guys a little sneak peek. This will be our next issue review. Now, like I said, you guys can watch the videos. You can do whatever you want to, like, subscribe. Either way, it's fine with me. You totally don't have to watch any of my other reviews if you don't want to. But I would recommend maybe checking this review out, because honestly, from what I remember, this was probably one of my favorite issues out of the series. And this is the next issue we're going to do. Actually dives into some really cool concepts with the past Green Goblins. We get a little bit of Norman and Harry Osborn in here. It's really, really cool. It's a neat one. So, yeah, I'd recommend checking this one out if you're interested. It's going to be, I think this one's going to be really cool. This is the Green Goblin issue 5. Yeah, 3 Faces of Evil. That'll be my next one. Yeah, I like this cover too. But yeah, that'll be my next one. That's a little sneak peek of what's to come. And I recommend you definitely check that one out, because that one's going to be a good one. 3 Faces of Evil. But yeah. Also, I wanted to say real quick, you'll probably notice a little scene transition with my video. I kind of had to switch the scenes a little bit, because I was outside when I started this review. And for reasons, I had to switch it inside. So I just wanted to... If you guys notice the scene difference, it's because I started it outside. I had to do it, the rest of it inside. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you want to like and subscribe, that'd be cool. If not, that's cool too. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you later. Bye.